Maya walks briskly through the crowd, her eyes fixed ahead. She moves with purpose, her posture straight, shoulders back, her expression hard but controlled. Beneath the surface, there's a quiet battle raging, one she's been fighting for years, and one that seems to have no end. The weight of her professional accomplishments should be enough to lift her spirit, to make her feel proud. But it doesn't. Not when every step she takes outside of her office is a reminder that no matter how much she achieves, society will always see her for the color of her skin before the value of her work. She pushes the thoughts down, focusing instead on the upcoming interview with a potential client. The weight of responsibility clings to her, but she embraces it. She has to. It's how she's gotten this far. But today, her resolve is tested by the weight of something else. The constant, subtle racism that lingers around her, like an invisible cloud. She doesn't need to look at anyone in particular to feel it. She just feels it always. As she nears the intersection, she spots a police officer standing by his patrol car, arms crossed, eyes scanning the crowd. Officer Williams, middle-aged, a hard look on his face, though not unfriendly, at least not outwardly. But Maya has learned over the years to see through the exterior, to read the subtle signs, to feel the judgment even before it's spoken. She quickens her pace, hoping to avoid any interaction, but as fate would have it, their paths cross. Another one of them, thinking they own the city, the officer mutters under his breath, just loud enough for Maya to hear. His words cut through the noise of the street, but she refuses to acknowledge him, her body stiffening with the sudden surge of indignation. She doesn't stop walking. She doesn't give him the satisfaction of a reaction, but as she passes, she feels his eyes on her, a lingering gaze that moves over her body, making her skin crawl. It's a look she's seen before, the look that sees her as less than human, less than deserving. He smirks and lets out a quiet laugh, almost as if amused by her existence. Maya's chest tightens, but she doesn't flinch, not this time. She keeps her head forward, her face expressionless, though inside, her heart races. The laughter is an echo, a reminder of every microaggression, every overlooked achievement, every small injustice she's faced. It stings deeper than it should, but she's learned to bury it. She has to. Still, something inside her shifts. The heaviness of the moment settles into her bones, and the bitterness that rises is too strong to ignore. Her hands ball into fists, but she forces herself to unclench them. She's learned to control her emotions in moments like these, to not let her anger show. She's learned that reacting, showing that she's hurt, will only give people like Officer Williams more power. But today, something is different. She steps off the curb, the weight of the moment following her every step. The officer's laughter lingers, but so does the memory of every time she's let these small cuts slide, pretending they don't hurt. The pain, the exhaustion of constantly having to keep her composure. It's been building for years, and she's done pretending. Her breath hitches as the officer's voice calls out to her, louder now, a demand in his tone. "What are you doing?" "Here," he asks, his words clipped as though she's somehow out of place. "You're supposed to be on the sidewalk. You got a reason for standing there." Maya stops in her tracks. She takes a deep breath. The anger inside her, the frustration, the years of being ignored and undermined bubble up. She can feel her pulse quickening, but she forces herself to stay calm. "I'm just waiting for the bus," she says, her voice steady but firm. "Officer." Williams takes a step closer, his presence looming over her. "Are you sure about that?" he asks, narrowing his eyes. The way he looks at her, as though she's an intruder in a space she has every right to be in, it cuts deeper than she expected. For a moment, Maya feels the weight of the situation settle around her like a cloud. She's aware of the stakes. A confrontation with a police officer, especially a black woman confronting a white officer, could escalate in an instant. She knows the dangers of standing up, of resisting, of letting her frustration show. Her heart is pounding now, each beat a reminder of the world she's forced to live in. But then, something shifts inside her. She looks the officer in the eye, her gaze unwavering. "I'm just trying to get home," she says, her voice unwavering despite the tension that crackles between them. "Is that okay with you?" The officer sneers, as though to dismiss her words entirely, but there's something else behind his eyes now. Something unfamiliar. He takes another step forward, trying to assert control, but Maya stands her ground. She feels the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders, but she refuses to bend. She won't let him push her down. She won't let him diminish her. The silence between them stretches, heavy and thick. Officer Williams looks at her for a moment longer, his expression unreadable, then shakes his head with a dismissive chuckle. But his power is no longer absolute. Maya has taken her stand, and it's enough to make him falter just for a moment. As Maya turns to walk away, she feels something inside her shift. A quiet resolve that had been building for years, now made stronger by this moment. She won't let these small indignities slide anymore. She won't let herself be invisible. The time for silence is over. Maya feels the officer's laugh echoing in her mind, the sound sharp and biting, lingering like a toxic residue that refuses to dissipate. It's a small thing, an almost imperceptible noise, but it hits her deep, unraveling something inside her. The sting of it rises to the surface, threatening to crack her composure. She feels it in her chest, a knot that tightens with every step she takes away from the officer, every step farther from the moment. But it's not just the laugh. It's the reminder of every instance like this one, the subtle, almost invisible, racism that has woven itself into the fabric of her life. She wants to ignore it. She has ignored it. But today it feels different. Her breath quickens, but she forces herself to steady it. Maya keeps walking, her face expressionless, her hands clenched tightly by her sides. The laughter echoes, but so does the weight of all the small accumulated slights she's carried over the years. Dismissals, assumptions, ignored achievements. She questions herself, questioning why she should have to carry this weight, why she should be expected to rise above it every single time. Why does it always have to be me? She asks herself, but there's no answer. A voice interrupts her thoughts, cutting through the tension. "Excuse me, ma'am." The officer, Officer Williams, is stepping toward her now, his body language full of purpose, as if he's finally decided she's worth his attention. His presence looms, filling the space between them with an energy that's both heavy and intimidating. "What are you doing here?" he asks, his voice gruff. "You're not supposed to be on the sidewalk." Maya stops in her tracks, heart pounding, but her body remains stiff with determination. "I'm waiting for the bus," she responds, her voice calm but firm. She feels the edge of her frustration creep in, but she holds it back. She knows how easily that frustration could turn against her. Officer Williams steps closer, his stance becoming more imposing. "Are you sure about that?" He's not asking for information, he's questioning her right to be there. His eyes narrow as he scans her up and down, assessing her, dismissing her all in one motion. Maya swallows the growing anger, the pressure in her chest building, but she doesn't let it show. The officer's challenge is clear. He's pushing, testing her, as if her presence itself is something to be questioned. Maya knows this isn't just about the sidewalk, it's about something much deeper. It's about the constant need to prove that she belongs. Her pulse quickens as the tension builds between them. She feels it in every breath she takes, every word that comes from his mouth. The weight of the situation presses down, threatening to suffocate her. But she keeps her gaze steady, looking him in the eye. She knows how important this moment is, how every choice she makes will define who she is in his eyes and in her own. "I'm just trying to get home," Maya says, her voice unwavering, but with an undertone of defiance she can't hide. She's not backing down. The officer's response is swift, a dismissive chuckle as though her words mean nothing. He sneers. "Well, you're certainly in the wrong place." There's something about that laugh that digs into her, deeper than the first one. It's not just the mocking tone, it's the way he thinks he has the right to belittle her, to reduce her to something smaller, less than human. The anger that's been simmering within her for years surges to the surface, but she holds it back. She knows the consequences of reacting, but as his words continue, Maya feels her resolve harden. She can feel it now, the steady thrum of frustration and disbelief coalescing into something else. A quiet determination. She takes a step forward, her voice steady, more powerful now. "I'm not the problem here," she says, her words sharper than before. "You are." The crowd around them starts to notice. Some stop to stare, others glance at their phones. The officer pauses, his jaw tightening. For the first time, he seems unsure. Maya's words hang in the air, and for a brief moment, it's as if the weight of the situation shifts. She has his attention now, not because of her anger, but because of her strength. His gaze flickers to the crowd, then back to Maya, but she stands her ground. "You don't get to talk to me like that," she says, her voice growing louder, stronger. The people around her are watching now, and she knows they're listening. "I won't let you, not anymore." The officer's face hardens, but there's something different in his eyes now. His authority, so absolute moments ago, is now questionable, wavering. There's discomfort there, and Maya feels it. She's broken through. He sneers again, but it's a weak attempt to mask the unease creeping in. "You think you can stand here and talk to me like that?" He scoffs, his voice dripping with condescension. But Maya sees it. She sees the crack in his armor, the moment of doubt that flickers before he can hide it. "I don't think," Maya says, her voice cold and clear. "I know, and you're not going to get away with treating me or anyone like this." There's silence for a moment, a charged stillness that settles over them. Maya stands tall, her heart still racing, but now she feels something different. A shift, a power she's never allowed herself to claim before. The weight of her anger has transformed, become something else, something more powerful, more freeing. The officer, realizing he can no longer control the situation, takes a step back. His mouth opens as if to respond, but the words don't come. He's lost this fight, and he knows it. He knows the crowd is watching, the eyes on him are no longer filled with fear. They're waiting. Maya feels the tension dissipate slightly, but she doesn't back down. Not now. Not ever again. "Your problem isn't with me," she says, the finality of her words ringing in the air. "It's with your own ignorance." The crowd begins to murmur, a few nodding, others pulling out their phones. The officer, his face red with frustration, glares at her for a moment longer before turning away. His presence shrinks in her mind. He's no longer a threat. Maya watches him go, feeling the weight of the moment settle in her chest. She feels a quiet pride rising within her. The silence she's carried for so long has been broken, and with it, something shifts, not just in the officer, but in herself. She has taken a stand, and in doing so, she's taken back her power. As she turns and walks away, a small but significant smile tugs at her lips. She knows deep down that this moment, this defiance, will stay with her. And it's only the beginning. Maya stands in front of Officer Williams, her feet rooted to the ground as he steps closer, his presence intimidating. The oppressive heat of the afternoon sun makes the air thick, but it's the rising tension between them that makes her skin feel suffocated. She can feel the weight of his badge, the power that comes with it, pressing down on her. His eyes bore into hers, trying to unnerve her, but she stands tall, her body stiff with the need to resist. "You really think you can just stand there and talk to me like that?" Officer Williams' voice is sharp, his tone filled with the unspoken expectation that he should be the one in control. He takes another step, his stance widening, making his authority clear. "I don't care what you think you're doing here." Maya's heart pounds in her chest, but she doesn't flinch. She's felt this before, this kind of intimidation, the kind that comes not just from the individual in front of you, but from the entire system they represent. The officers, the laws, the rules that were never made with her in mind. Maya's breath steadies, her mind racing to ground herself. She has to respond, but she also knows that the wrong word, the wrong movement could escalate this into something she can't control. "I'm not going anywhere," Maya says, her voice steady, calm despite the fury bubbling inside her. She meets his gaze with quiet defiance. "I'm just waiting for the bus, but if you're trying to make something out of that, we can talk about it." The officer sneers, his lip curling. Thin mockery. "Talk about it? What's there to talk about, huh?" He's practically spitting the words at her, as if daring her to back down. He shifts his weight from one foot to the other, the stance of someone used to getting their way, used to no one questioning their authority. Maya feels the anger rise in her chest, but she holds it in, refusing to let him control her emotions. She's heard these words before, seen this look, been underestimated because of her skin, her gender, her presence. But today something is different. Today she feels her worth more than she ever has before, and she refuses to let him or anyone else diminish it. "I'm not the problem here." "You are," Maya says, her voice a little louder now, not just to make him hear her, but to make the people around them hear too. Her words feel like a jolt of energy, a small spark that makes the tension in the air thicker, more intense. A few bystanders glance over. Maya notices them, their eyes flicking between her and the officer, a few of them pulling out their phones. She knows the moment she's speaking her truth. It's undeniable now. She can't let it be drowned out. The officer's face hardens, and Maya sees the first crack in his composure. His hands twitch at his sides, but he doesn't move. There's a flicker of uncertainty in his eyes, a brief moment where he realizes that this isn't going the way he expected. He's used to control, to being the one who demands compliance. But Maya doesn't back down. She's not afraid of him or his badge, and she won't let him make her feel less than. His voice lowers, though the mockery still lingers in his words. "You think you can just say that and get away with it? You think anyone cares about what you have to say?" The words are a challenge, an attempt to belittle her, to make her feel like she's nothing more than a nuisance. Maya's stomach tightens, but she forces herself to stand tall, shoulders squared, eyes unwavering. "I don't need anyone to care," she says, the words biting and firm. "What I need is for people to stop treating me like I don't belong, like I'm less than, and I'm not going to let that happen anymore." The crowd around them begins to stir, their murmurs growing louder as the tension escalates. Some people start to gather, sensing the change in the air, realizing that something bigger than just a confrontation is unfolding. The officer notices the shift, his confidence faltering for a moment as the weight of the situation sinks in. Maya stands still, resolute, even as her heart races. She feels the world around her slow, as though time has momentarily stopped. This is the moment she's been waiting for, the one where she finally claims her voice, her dignity, her place in the world. The officer, realizing that the crowd is watching, shifts uneasily. The power dynamic that he thought was absolute is now cracking, and he doesn't know how to handle it. The weight of all the eyes on him, all the cameras recording the scene, starts to get to him. His attempts to regain control are futile. "You really think this is going to end well for you?" he asks, though there's no conviction behind it. His tone now sounds hollow, desperate, as if he's not sure who's in charge anymore. Maya takes a deep breath, feeling the ground beneath her feet steady her. She knows the stakes, knows how easily things could have spiraled out of control, but it hasn't. Not yet. And it won't. Not while she still has a say in it. "I don't need your apology," she says, her voice unwavering. "You need to apologize to yourself for not understanding what power really is, for not understanding how your actions affect people like me. I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here because I'm done being silent." The officer freezes, his lips parting as if to speak, but nothing comes out. His confidence, once so solid, now trembles like a house of cards, ready to collapse. The murmurs in the crowd grow louder, and Maya stands in the center of it all, a quiet storm of strength and resilience. "I'm not going anywhere," she says again, softer this time, but with even more weight behind the words. "And neither should anyone else, not until we see change." The officer looks around at the crowd, his face reddening with frustration. The power that he thought he held slips from his grasp, his authority unraveling with each passing second. He looks at Maya, desperate to reassert himself, but he's losing. "I'm sorry," the officer says finally, his voice cracking, but it's not enough. Maya knows it's not enough. His apology is hollow, a desperate attempt to regain control, but it means nothing without understanding. "Your apology is not for me," Maya responds firmly, her words cutting through the air. "It's for you, and for everyone you've wronged." But it's too late. The officer's face falls, He's no longer the one in control. His career, once secure, is now teetering on the edge. The phones are still rolling, the crowd is still watching, and every moment that passes takes him closer to the inevitable truth of his actions. The system he represents is slowly unraveling before him. He tries to salvage the situation, but his pleading words are lost in the growing voices of the crowd, louder now, demanding justice, demanding change. The chants for his resignation begin to rise, steady and powerful, echoing around the street, and Maya stands there unshaken at the center of it all. As the officer retreats, defeated, the crowd's energy doesn't wane. Maya takes a deep breath, realizing the enormity of what just happened. She's not just standing for herself anymore. She's standing for everyone who has ever been overlooked, dismissed, silenced. This moment, this small victory, is the start of something much bigger. Maya's steps are slow as she walks away, but her heart feels lighter. Her voice, once silenced, now carries the weight of change. As the crowd's voices fade behind her, Maya knows this is just the beginning. She has found her strength, and she will never let it go. Maya walks away from the confrontation with a sense of power she has never felt before. The weight of the moment, the anger, the frustration, the years of silent suffering feels lighter now. The sting of the officer's words is still there, but it no longer defines her. She has found her voice in the face of prejudice, her actions speaking louder than all the forces that have tried to silence her. As she walks, her pace quickens, a newfound strength surging within her. She's no longer the woman who hides in the shadows of injustice. She's the one standing tall, unapologetically herself. The moment she leaves the scene, her story begins to take on a life of its own. The video of her confrontation with Officer Williams floods social media. At first, it's just a few shares, then more until it spreads across platforms. Maya's bravery ignites a spark that turns into a fire. People from all over the world begin commenting, sharing their own stories of prejudice, of racism, of moments where they too had been silenced. Maya's voice becomes a rallying cry for those who had felt voiceless for so long. The hashtags explode with messages of support and solidarity. What started as one woman standing up against a police officer has become a global conversation, a mindset movement that transcends borders. Her strength is inspiring. "I've been afraid to speak up, now I know I'm not alone," one comment reads. Another follows, "I see myself in her. We are stronger together." Maya's phone pings with notifications. As the day goes on, and while the attention is overwhelming, it's not unwelcome. She reads the comments, the messages, each one fueling the fire inside her. She realizes that she is not just an individual anymore. She is part of something larger. The pain and struggle she has faced have shaped her, but they no longer define her. Instead, they are the foundation of her legacy. No longer a silent observer of the system that has oppressed her, Maya's story becomes a symbol of resilience, her courage inspiring others to challenge the status quo. Officer Williams, on the other hand, watches as his life unravels. The weight of his actions crashes down on him. His department launches an investigation into his conduct, and the details begin to emerge: his history of mistreatment, his biases, his unchecked power. The community, long weary of systemic injustice, demands accountability. His career, once secure, crumbles in the face of undeniable truth. He is publicly shamed, stripped of his uniform, and forced to reckon with the consequences of his prejudice. For the first time, Officer Williams is confronted not by his power, but by the realization that his actions have real, human consequences. In the privacy of his home, he watches the footage of the confrontation again. The words Maya spoke echo in his mind, haunting him. He sees the rawness in her eyes, the defiance, the quiet strength that broke through the layers of his authority. He thought he had control, but he was wrong. Now, as he faces the investigation, he is forced to confront the man he thought he was and the man he has become. The power that once felt so solid now slips through his fingers like sand. Maya, meanwhile, is transforming in ways she never expected. As the days pass, she feels the shift within herself, the shift from a survivor of prejudice to a champion for change. She starts attending rallies, speaking at forums, sharing her story, and calling for systemic change. Her voice grows stronger, not just for herself, but for every black woman who has been overlooked, silenced, and dismissed in the workplace, in society, and in the world at large. She becomes a beacon of hope for others, her courage lighting the way for those who have felt the weight of injustice, but have been too afraid to act. With each step, Maya reclaims the power that had been stolen from her for so long. She speaks about the intersectionality of race and gender, about the unique struggles black women face in spaces dominated by others, and about the importance of solidarity. She urges those who have power to use it to lift others up, to ensure that the stories of marginalized people are heard, and to fight for a future where such injustice no longer exists. Her personal transformation is profound. She walks with her, head held high, no longer allowing anyone or anything to diminish her. She knows her worth, her strength, her value. It's not just the validation from the outside world that fuels her, it's the unshakable belief she now has in herself. Maya realizes that her voice has the power to change the world, and then the call comes. A major company, one that values diversity and inclusion, offers her a position. They recognize her talents, her strength, her authenticity. The offer is more than just a job. It's an opportunity to shape the future, to break down barriers, and to lead with compassion and conviction. Maya accepts. It's not just a professional win, it's a personal one. She is finally walking in a space where she is valued for who she is, and she knows that this is only the beginning of the changes she will bring about. As she steps into this new chapter of her life, Maya is no longer just surviving. She is thriving. The resilience that once kept her standing now drives her forward. She is no longer a product of her circumstances, but a leader, ready to face any challenge with courage, grace, and an unwavering commitment to justice. Her story, from survivor to advocate, is one of transformation, proof that change is not just possible but necessary. The power to create that change lies within each of us, and Maya's journey shows that with resilience, strength, and the will to speak out, transformation is not only achievable, but inevitable. The story ends with Maya standing at the forefront of the movement she helped ignite. Her voice has made a difference, and the world is starting to listen. Through her courage and unwavering belief in herself, she has become a symbol of hope for those who have been oppressed, a testament to the power of transformation and the promise of a future where justice and equality are no longer dreams but realities.